Hello again. So I wanted you to get the second packet on time for me, and this one doesn't have page numbers, so it's a little bit harder, but it's the one that just says match the time, and up above it says www.worksheetfun.com. So this is kind of one that I pulled off that we were going to practice a little bit more on time for the next 2 days, and then we'll be finished with time and we'll move on to something else. But here on this first page, we're going to do this together. So we are going to just simply match the time, exactly what it says. So the first one was done for us. So we can see that our hour hand was pointed to the 2. Our minute hand was up to the 12, which means o'clock or 00. So they drew a line that showed 2 o'clock. So let's look at the second clock. So my hour hand is pointed to the 7. My minute hand is pointed to the 12. So what time would that clock say? That clock would say 7 o'clock. So I'm going to draw a line all the way down to my 7 o'clock. Okay, let's look at the next one. So my hour hand is pointed to the 10. My minute hand is up to the 12. So what time does that say? I know that says 10 o'clock. So I'm just going to draw a line. Okay, my next one. It shows my hour hand to the 4, my minute hand to the 12. So I know that that's going to say 4 o'clock. So I'm going to draw a line up to the 4 o'clock. This one is my hour hand is to the 1, my minute hand is to the 12. So it's going to say 1 o'clock. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the 1 o'clock. Okay, and then the last one, obviously, my hour hand is to the 11, my minute hand is to the 12. I'm going to go all the way up to my 11 o'clock. So you should have done that page with me. The other thing I was going to mention is I know that this doesn't ask for your name, but if you would please put it up there, especially on the pages that you're going to turn into me, okay? Because you are going to have to turn them into me. All right, let's go ahead and turn the page and flip your packet over. It's going to be the exact same idea, just different times. So this one, again, we're going to match the time. And I'm going to go ahead and do it with you. So the first one's done for us. So let's look at the second one. My hour hand. I always read my hour hand first. My hour hand is pointed to the 9. My minute hand is to the 12. So I know that says 9 o'clock. Okay, let's look at the next one. My hour hand, sorry, I keep saying that wrong. My hour hand is pointing to the 4. My minute hand is to the 12. So it's 4 o'clock. So it's the beginning of the next hour. Okay, so I'm going to draw a line to match. The next one, my hour hand, goodness, is pointed to the 6. My minute hand is to the 12. So it says 6 o'clock. So I'm going to go ahead and point it to there. This one's a little bit harder because you have to pay attention to which one's the shorter hand and the longer hand. Okay, remember our hour hand is the shorter hand. So my hour hand is pointed to the 5. My minute hand's pointed to the 12. So it's going to say 5 o'clock. And I'm going to draw a line to match that. Okay, the last one. My hour hand is pointed to the 8. My minute hand is to the 12, so it says 8 o'clock, and we're going to go all the way up to show 8 o'clock. Okay, go ahead and just flip your packet over, so we're not turning any pages. This time, we have to actually write the time, and they didn't put the colons in there for us, so we need to remember that our hour goes before the colons, our minute goes after the colon. Okay, so if I look at this first time, okay, my hour hand is pointed to the 9. My minute hand is up to the 12. So how do I write 9 o'clock on a digital clock? So this is my analog clock. How do I write it on a digital clock? So now I know I'm going to write 9. Then I'm going to put my colon because that's my hour. Then my minute hands go after, and when it's up to the 12 and it's o'clock, we know it says 00. Okay, let's look at this one. So my hour hand is pointing to the 8, my minute hand's up to the 12. So how would I write 8 o'clock on a digital clock? So I would write 8, then I'm going to put my colon, and then 0, 0. So my hour is before, my minutes are after. Okay, let's look at the next one. So here my hour hand is pointed to the 11, my minute hand is up to the 12. So how would I write that on a digital clock? I would write 11 dot dot 0, 0. Okay, this time I have 2 numbers in front because my hour hand is 2 digits. Okay, so my hour is 2 digits with the 11. Okay, look here. So my hour hand is pointing to the 4. My minute hand is pointing to the 12. So how do I write 4 o'clock on a digital clock? So I would write 4, colon, colon, 0, 0. Okay, this one is my hour hands to the 7, my minute hands to the 12. So I need to write 7 o'clock. All right, down here. Here's that tricky one we've already done. But my hour hand, maybe we look at the shorter one, is pointing to the 6. My minute hand is pointing to the 12. So I need to write 6 o'clock on my digital clock. So 6, colon, 0, 0. Okay, over here we have 10 o'clock. So how am I going to write 10 o'clock on my digital clock? 10, colon, colon, 0, 0. Okay, last one. So my hour hand's pointing to the 5, my minute hand's to the 12, so it's going to say 5 o'clock on my analog clock, and I need to write it on my digital clock to make it say 5 o'clock. Okay, go ahead and turn your page and flip it over. We're going to do one more thing, which is writing the time. And then you guys are going to do to the half hour on your own. I know that's a little harder, but I didn't want to do that one with you because I want you guys to be practicing that because the hour is a little bit easier for you guys. So here, my hour hand's pointing to the 1, my minute hand's to the 12. So I'm going to write 1 o'clock. Okay, same thing here. It's to the 8 and the 12. So I'm going to write 8 o'clock. So my analog clock says 8 o'clock. My digital clock I have to write. Okay, so what time does my analog clock say? It's 11 o'clock. So I'm going to write 11 o'clock down here on my digital. Okay, here my hour hand's to the 9. My minute hand is to the 12. So it's going to say 9 o'clock. So a lot of this is just you guys practicing how to tell that time. Okay, on my analog clock, what time does it say? 5 o'clock. So I'm going to write 5 o'clock down here on a digital clock. So 5 dot dot 0 0. Okay, last row. So this one says 4 o'clock because it's pointing to my 4 and then my 12. So 4, colon, colon, 0 0. This one, my hour hand's to the 10, my minute hand's to the 12, so I'm going to write 10 o'clock. Okay, and then this one, my hour hand's to the 7, my minute hand's to the 12, so I'm going to write 7 o'clock. All right, so the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to write the time. But this time it's going to be a mixture of ones to the half hour and ones to the hour. Okay, so for example, this first one, my minute hand is in between the 3 and the 4, but it's still in the 3 house. So that means it's 3. And then my minute hand is down to the 6. So remember, I count by 5s. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So it makes it 3:30. Okay, let's look at this one. I'll do this one with you. So my hour hand, is in between the 10 and the 11. So it's still in the 10 house. It hasn't gotten to 11 yet. And then my minute hand's down to the 6, so I need to count by 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So that means it's 10:30. 30. So on a digital clock, I would write 10 dot dot 30. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing on that page the rest of the way. Like I said, some of them are going to be to the hour, some of them are to the half hour, but you need to just write the time. All right, go ahead and look at the next page with me. On the next page, you're doing the same activity. So this one, though, is all to the half hour. So you're going to write your times all to the half hour on this one. Okay, remember whose house the hour hand is in. Then if you flip the page over, okay, you're going to do the same thing. Again, this goes back to a mixture. So some are to the hour, some are to the half hour. Okay, and then the last page. So you're going to do 4 pages on your own. This one's a little bit trickier, not really, but this one, it switches us. So now it gives us the time on the digital clock, and we need to draw the hour hands on the analog clock. So this one says 6 o'clock. So I would draw my hour hand pointing to the 6. Remember, it's going to be shorter. And my minute hand is going to go up to the 12 and touch my number. So it shows 6 o'clock. This one shows 1 o'clock. So again, my hour hand is going to point to the 1. It's going to be shorter. My minute hand is going to go up to the 12 and touch it and show 1 o'clock. Okay, so you're going to do that for all of these. All of these ones are to the hour, so it's a little bit easier. Okay, so you're going to go to the hour. So guys, these don't have page numbers on them, but basically we did the first 4 pages together, and now I want you to do the next 4 on your own. So you're just kind of doing 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's really 2 pages front and back. Okay, and then you will stop when you get to this one. I have a little sticky note on it, but stop when you get to this one. So basically you're just doing the next 2 pages, but front and back, okay? So I'm going to have you guys do that for me today, and then just have your parents turn in those pages that you did on your own or you did independently, okay? The second thing I want you to do is I want you to do your Rocket math. So you've done set A and set B. So now I want you to do set C. Okay, so again, have your parents go around, start here, orbit around. Remember, you don't have to write these. This is just oral to you. So your parents are just saying 1 plus 1, your answer is 2. 1 plus 1, 2. 1 plus 6, 7. 6 plus 1, 7. And you're just saying it. The only place you're writing is when you come in here. And remember, I want your parents to time you for 1 minute, and I want you just to write or answer as many as you can in 1 minute. Once the timer goes off, stop, and then I want you just to show me how far you got, okay? You guys are doing a great job with these. So today, it's just set C, all right? We'll talk to you later. Have a good rest of your day.